The exit for the longest-serving senator in Pennsylvania's history, Arlen Specter, losing in the Democratic primary last night. He had an endorsement from President Obama, but it did not help in his fight against Congressman Joe Sestak.
Yes,
and we saw what happened last night.
Oh, yeah. There you see it. Quite a drubbing. Sestak cashed in on Specter's switch from last year from Republican to Democrat. He had a very, very tough-to-watch ad out there that was just blistering,
absolutely.
sort of painting Arlen Specter as this selfish, flip-flopping Washington politician, showing images of President Bush and former President Bush, and also using Arlen Specter's own words against him. Well, Congressman Sestak joins us live from Philadelphia this morning, so it is the day after, and, you know, a lot was made. Thank you for being with us, by the way, Congressman. Thanks for waking up with us. I know you had a busy night last night. But have you gotten that call from President Obama yet saying congratulations?
Yes, he called last evening, but first was Senator Specter's call, and the second phrase he said was, "Joe, I'm going to support you." I think it was a real mark of a person when he did that. And I was gratified with the president's call, and I want to be a strong ally of him, one of the strongest allies, but obviously not a yes man. Now I'm looking forward to this.
What did he say? What did the president say in that phone call, Congressman?
He said, "Congratulations. And Joe, I'm really there for you, and I look forward to working with you and getting you in the United States Senate."
You didn't have
Couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah, you didn't have the support of the president or the vice president or the governor in your state during this primary battle. Can the Democrats mend some fences here and rally around your campaign? And were you a little miffed about all of that during this campaign, that they went to Arlen Specter, somebody who was a Republican up until about a year ago?
Oh, not at all. Look, I didn't begrudge what the Democratic establishment in Washington, D.C. did. They felt they needed a 60th vote. I happen to disagree with that type of a deal. I don't think we seized the White House through deal making. We did it through audacity. But I always remembered what John F. Kennedy once said. Sometimes the party asks too much. And I really felt this wasn't right for the families of Pennsylvania. But to your other part of the question, I always remember when then-candidate Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton went through Pennsylvania. At the end of the day, this president swept Pennsylvania when he was the candidate, and that's what we're going to do come November.
All right, so you still have a lot of work to do. I mean, this was a tough primary fight, and now your other fight ahead of you, you got to go up against Republican Pat Toomey, who has been getting, you know, a lot of support. I mean, that's the initial reason why Arlen Specter said he switched, was because he knew that probably the polling was really against him, going up against conservative Pat Toomey. So what do you do now? There are some who are critical of you and say that it's going to be difficult for you to secure the independent vote in a state like Pennsylvania. What's your game plan going forward?
Well, it's to continue what I've always done. You know, after I left the United States Navy after 31 years, about 3-4 years ago, I've been a congressman, and my district's 53% Republican, 35% Democrat. I reach across the aisle. I am going to be in this for all Pennsylvanians, Republican, Democrats, and independents alike. And I've already debated Congressman Toomey twice, and I want to continue to do that because, I mean, with Congressman Toomey, it's kind of a look backwards. He supported George Bush's policies, and they didn't create one job. But I want to look forward and see how can we now, after the savage recession we came out of that Congressman Toomey helped get us into, how do we go forward with the right tax cuts for small businesses, the majority of Pennsylvania's work? That's why it's going to be a great backwards versus forwards kind of debate between the two of us.
And, you know, as you've noticed across the country, there's this Tea Party movement that's had a big effect in races, you know, across the country. Down in Kentucky, Rand Paul won very big down there. I'm just curious, you know, a lot of what is driving that movement on the right is concern about the national debt. What would you do to deal with the deficit? The president has put together a deficit commission. Would you be in favor of raising taxes to take care of the deficit? And will you talk about that during the campaign?
Well, absolutely. I will talk about this national debt issue. In fact, as you well know,
would you raise taxes? Would you be in favor of raising taxes?
I have been out there and said that Congressman Toomey, where he gave 53 cents of every dollar in tax cuts to the top 1% of wage income earners of America, the multimillionaires, and trickle-down economics didn't work. Well, that to the very, very wealthy shouldn't continue. Those are revenues that literally, if they went to the previous tax bracket, would have, as in the Clinton administration, they created 23 million jobs. We created zero during the Bush administration. But more important than that, I always remember how Congressman Toomey, actually threw out the window with George Bush what's called pay-as-you-go, balance the government's checkbook, and tripled the national debt. So now we've got a lot of interest we got to pay when they used our credit card on the national level. So I do believe in fiscal conservatism, and therefore it is going to take an ability that I voted for to make sure that if you want a new program, cut another one.
Yeah, but you said you said that you agree with fiscal conservatism, but you did vote for all of the spending bills in this session. How do you square that?
Well, remember, there we were steaming along. A torpedo hit the ship. We were sinking. We literally had lost, and as you well know, 9 million jobs. So that stimulus money actually caulked the holes that kept that ship from sinking down all the way. Now is where I have voted, and it did pass into statutory law that we have to balance our checkbooks under pay-as-you-go as we go forward. Look, George Bush's savage policies that Congressman Toomey voted for literally tripled our national debt, literally ran our economy aground. I come from the military. There's emergency funding to help us in a war, as there was for this war at home, this recession. Now, after the damage that was done by that past administration, we've got to go forward and make sure we pay for it as we go forward.
Spoken like an admiral, Congressman Joe Sestak, live in Philadelphia this morning. Congratulations on your victory. We'll see you during the fall campaign. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks and congrats. Take care. Well, New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson is going to be joining us in a moment.